Good evening, good afternoon, good wherever you are. This is Omni Bros Live, and this is the 86th annual Omni Bros annual Omni Awards. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for having us here. Jose Canseco is out back parking everybody's cars, and Brad Pitt has now made it down the runway. So, how is everybody doing tonight?
I'm still trying to find the link to the YouTube.
Really?
I'm like sitting
we
here
are starting off strong tonight. It's only uphill from here, folks.
I found it. Don't worry. I'm good. Fuck.
Hey now.
So Christmas sweater.
Everybody's rocking their Sunday best.
I got the sweater vest on.
But whoa, there's an echo there.
Not me.
Not me.
Okay, not anymore. I heard it was like when Jess was speaking, it was like really grandiose. It was like sweater vest on.
Sweater vest on.
I don't know what happened, but I'm gonna show you what's better than my Christmas sweater. So I got like thermals since it's getting cold, and I also have to go to. I'm going on vacation to Colorado soon, but they didn't have any thermal bottoms, so I went ahead and bought some like women's leggings because they do the same. But I decided if I'm gonna be wearing leggings, I might as well look good. So check this out. Oh yeah. That's the good stuff right there.
Is that what you are? A ho-ho? A ho?
Yeah, that's me.
Those are awesome.
I'm gonna have to mark this NSFW, aren't
I?
I'm a hoe for Christmas. And also before we got officially started, I do need to send out some thanks for a gift that I received. And I wanted to do that live on the show, since the biggest and best way to give out thanks. And it is a rather grand gift as well. So thank you to Jimmy and Corrine Pisantes, who are in the group, for sending me.
Check this out.
This sideshow statue.
You got her from the wrong angle. We need to be looking down on her. There we go. There's the window.
So I wanted to give a giant thanks for that. That was a very unexpected gift coming in yesterday on my day off. And I'm going to post about that on the group too. I just wanted to make sure to give the shout out on the video real quick.
That's an amazing gift. That is a really nice statue. I've got that statue. That's an amazing gift.
That's what they call a dime piece right there.
Oh, totally. Since we're talking about gifts, though, I was actually lucky enough to get my first piece of fan mail from the awesome John Wilson, all the way from the UK. He sent this out to me a few days ago, or a few weeks ago, and it finally arrived. It actually arrived to my old address, but I already ripped open the tape. This is awesome. Absolutely awesome. He sent me a print signed by Mike Mignola. Oh my God, I freaked out so hard when I opened that this afternoon. I died. It's a signed print by Mike Mignola from a local signing that he went to. Anybody that knows me knows I am a huge Hellboy fan. Oh my God, I freaked out so fucking hard.
Now he's in England, right?
Yeah,
he from England.
Yeah, he did. And I would just want to say so much thank you. This is going to get hanged up on my wall. This is the first thing in my new place that's going to get hanged up. Oh my gosh, dude. I opened this up and I was fucking hyped as hell. Anybody that knows me knows that Mike Mignola is my favorite writer / artist of all time, along with Darwin Cook. And the fact that he took his time oh my gosh, I'm like blanking on the name right now because I'm so hyped about it.
Who, John?
Yeah, the fact that John took time out of his busy schedule.
John Wilson.
Yes, the John Wilson took time out of his busy schedule in order to actually send me something and get it signed by Mike himself is awesome, and I am incredibly humbled. Thank you so much, dude. This is really going to go hanged up on my wall this afternoon.
Well, yeah, gifts. I got a gift that I gave myself. Let's see, Killer Frost right there. See that statue? I gave that to myself recently on local comic book store day. There she is, incredibly sparkly, and right next to her is Halloween Batgirl. And yeah, those were gifts from me to me. So I know I wanted them.
Congratulations, Jess.
We need to get some fan gifts out to Jess now.
I've gotten plenty. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Okay.
I'm not feeling left out at all.
Show Jess some love this holiday season.
No. Mike Noah has showered me with gifts throughout the 2 years that I've known him.
Send him the best Neil Adams written works that you can.
Signed prints of Odyssey pages.
Thank you, my former friends.
As always, any technical problems that we have tonight, you can address them to Nick Munoz, courtesy of... Anybody got his street address?
Street address.
Okay,
Yes,
so...
This is root beer right here. Nicholas Munoz. I got root beer. And I want to give a shout out to Felipe Sarmiento. I am coming to Athens, Georgia, and I'm going to beat your ass. You're in America now, pal. We drink root beer. Root beer, sassafras root. We don't drink any Chilean pisco sours or something. This is root beer. This is America. You drink root beer and like it with ice cream in it. You don't put scotch in your root beer. That's the craziest thing I've ever heard of. So I am going to come down there, beat you up, and pour it down your throat until you like it, Felipe. God damn you.
That's not a threat. That's a promise.
That is a promise. Taken straight from Taken. I have a set of skills involving root beer. That's right. And Ryan Sace and Lewis McGregor are both Welsh bastards. And my last shout out is to Emily Donnelly, who is still a comic goddess because she wants Eros Gone Wild. I cannot even tell you how not safe for work that book is. She wants the oversized hardcover. She's the wife of Brendan Donnelly. And I got that book. I showed John Hahn that book and got it from Mike Noah during my West Coast tour. It is amazingly not safe for work. And yet Emily Donnelly steps up to the plate and wants it. So she is the comic goddess that she has always wanted to be. And there, I'm done with my shout outs now. We can get going with the show.
I just want to let you guys know that because I felt left out of the jokes and stuff, I did some looking into some Howard Stern.
Oh, God.
So now I can start to hit him with the Heim.
All right, hit him with the Heim.
Baba boy.
Yeah, and I watched Private Parts, the movie. So I did.
Nice.
Wait, you've never seen Private Parts before?
I had never seen it. I'd never seen it.
Wow, that's a classic.
Oh, sweet.
Well, now I have. I've amended that mistake, and I can move forward with my life. Now I'm gonna have to get some XM radio so I can listen to the Howard Stern show all the time.
Oh, dude, then you'll be in like Flynn.
I saw that movie when I was like 8 years old.
You did?
Yeah, I should not be
Great
watching
movie.
that.
That was a great movie.
Okay, so tonight is the Omnis. What this is basically a lot of you guys, you voted on your Best of the Year awards, and it was started by Gabriel Bustamantes, and I'm sorry, Mike, did I get that name correctly? I apologize if I didn't.
I think you got it.
I think you did.
Okay. It was
You guys are the ones that both speak the native tongue there, not me.
It was started by Gabriel Bustamantes, who put in a lot of time and effort and work into this. He organized it, he took the polls, he took the numbers, and basically he came up with the different categories that we're going to be covering this year. And a lot of you guys voted, and we're going to give you our opinions on the first 6 categories. So just so you guys know, he called it the motherfucking Omni Award 2016. And the categories we're going to be talking about tonight are the biggest news announcements of 2016, best non-superhero title of 2016, best superhero title of 2016, best miniseries of 2016, Best Ongoing Series in 2016, and Best Original Graphic Novel of 2016. Now, we are just covering the first 6 out of 12 categories tonight, simply because to cover everything would be an insanely amount of time. Next week, we will close out the other 6 on Riley's channel. So, yeah, I mean, I hope everybody's cool with that. And, yeah, we want to keep you guys in suspense, too. I think you'll be fine.
If they're not cool with it, what are they going to do? Go to a different live stream? I don't think so.
I might go to a different live. I quit.
Okay. My name gets butchered all the time. I'm sorry, Gabe. All right, so the first category of tonight, we are just getting right into it because we have a lot to cover, is the biggest news of the year. You guys voted for, and the winner is, somebody give me a drum roll. Biggest news announcement is DC Rebirth with a landslide of 16 votes on this one. You guys really love DC Rebirth. I happen to be in a huge agreement with it. DC Rebirth has been awesome. It has been everything that Jeff Johns promised. I got to be honest, I was a little bit hesitant about it. That isn't my choice for the biggest news category, news of the year, but I do agree that DC Rebirth had a huge impact. It was a line-wide rehaul. And really, when Jeff Johns first came out, I think he came out on, not Fallon, but it was like the Late Late Show with this other guy, and he basically said, look, we're going back to what makes DC right. I personally thought that's just, that's just employee talk, all this other stuff. That's just corporate talk. They've really put their foot where their mouth is, and they have been knocking it out of the park lately.
Wait, they put their foot where their mouth is? That means they made a mistake.
My bad.
They put their money where their mouth is.
Money where their mouth is. There we go. See?
Maybe they did both.
I talk English real good.
Me speak good English.
Me speak goodly English.
Me am fail English.
And I'm showing pictures of the DC Deluxe Rebirth Omni, or not Omni, sorry, Deluxe Edition. DC Rebirth, so everybody can get an idea of what we're talking about.
So do we each, I don't know what we're doing for the format. Are we each going to talk a little bit about Rebirth, or are we each going to give our favorite thing ourselves, or
just your opinions on Rebirth, and then you go over your own choices as well?
Okay. Did you go over your choice?
No, actually, my choice is for this year, the biggest news, and this hit me on a personal level, was Darwin Cook dying. I actually still remember where I read the news that he died. I was at the mall with my fiance, and I mean, I just paused when I read the news story. I took a seat, and I was like, holy shit, an icon of the industry just died. Like somebody that I looked up. Yeah, extremely major icon. And I think Cook was really well beloved in the industry, and a lot of fans really liked him, but he was also one of those guys that he, in my opinion, was in a way easily forgettable, where he never really took the spotlight. He never was one of those guys like your Scott Snyders or your Jim Lees or anything like that, where people associate him automatically with comics of the current age. And it's really, in my opinion, that after he died is when a lot of people have gone back and looked at his works like New Frontier, the Parker series. We see that all the time in the Omnibus group, where people are going, holy shit, I never got a chance to actually meet Cook or anything like that, and I never read New Frontier, but wow. And I think it's kind of sad also, because a lot of times that I would go to cons, Cook's table was empty. Like, nobody was really seeing, and I was like,
that's a crime.
Yeah, and it was kind of the same way with Jack Kirby back in the day, where Jack Kirby later on in his life, before he passed, his table was empty. You could walk up to Kirby and nobody was looking at him.
That's also a crime. That's a ridiculous crime.
Riley, what about you, man?
So on Rebirth, I thought that was a really good choice. A lot of people really excited about that, like you said, because they've the announcement was pretty big, but it got a lot of people's attention just from the announcement itself, because of the fact that people were sick and fucking tired of New 52, because New 52 was one big mistake after another, after another, after another. And it kept getting worse and worse, with less little like beacons of good series, like the further we went along. And during that last year or 2 years or whatever of the New 52, we had a lot of new good titles pop up from the DCU YOU thing that they did. But it was ever so clear the entire time that there was editorial mandates that were really keeping all of the creators from really telling the stories that they wanted to tell. And with Rebirth, it seems like they just opened the gates and let people do whatever they wanted, however they wanted to do it. I mean, not literally, but there's a lot more freedom for these people to do what they want. And I hate to be that guy, but I feel like they kind of went in the direction of how Marvel has been since Marvel Now, where they kind of allow a lot of freedom with these characters. That allows for creators to make these books almost like seem like they're creator-owned titles rather than just, you know, corporate superhero titles. So they made a really good decision going into Rebirth, and it's been 6 months, I think, and it's still holding strong. There's still most of the series that they've been publishing are really good series. A lot of the series have been a lot better now than they were in the New 52. Flash, Green Lantern,
Superman.
Yeah,
They did a U-turn on Superman.
Yeah, Superman started to go into the positive direction right before the New 52 ended, and then they just fucking like took it to the other side of that wall and just made it into what I think is the best series that DC is publishing right now, which is Superman should be the best series they're publishing right now. But I think the Rebirth has been great. The announcement of it itself was a really awesome thing. Personally, my favorite announcement, this is really obvious, is going to be Resurrection, the big reboot for Inhumans and the X-Men. But the reason why that's my favorite thing is because I can finally tell people shut the fuck up about like destroying the X-Men franchise, like they're trying to get rid of the X-Men, because it's like for the past several years, people, just because the Inhumans exist and have like a couple of ongoing series, people are like, they're replacing the mutants with the Inhumans. And I've said like every few months, no, that's not true. It's not happening. Like, at first it seemed like I was just a guy in denial. Like I just put my tinfoil hat on and I was like, no, that's not true. But then the further it went along, I'm like, no, like, look, this is happening. This is happening. This is happening. There's more mutant books than there's ever been Inhuman books. Like Inhuman books are getting canceled. Mutant books have not gotten canceled. And then like they did Death of X and people were like, this is it. They're ending the franchise. And I'm like, no, stop, wait. And then there was, you know, IVX, Resurrection, and there's more mutant books coming out after Resurrection than there has been since before everything happened. So it's not necessarily anything about the creators involved or the quality of the books that I think are coming out, just the fact that I get to say toe-to-so.
Well, boy, you got a lot of fancy opinions for a city slicker from Texas wearing snowflakes on a sweater. Let me tell you.
I hope people got that Trailer Park Boys reference, though, a toe-to-so. I don't know if y'all watch Trailer Park Boys.
I do not.
I don't even know what that is.
I fucking a toe-to-so. It's a Canadian comedy series about some Trailer Park Boys.
Canada, really? We're in America, Riley. Where we drink root beer.
Canada has some beer from the Roots, I believe. I don't know. But it's good. I recommend it. Go look up some of the one-liners in there. But yeah, one of the guys, he can't speak. He tries to say idioms and stuff, and he can't get it right. And instead of saying "I told you so," he says "a tota-so," and it's like "a tota-so." And so in one, he's like "a tota-so, a fucking tota-so." So that's my opinion. There you go.
No, I totally agree with you. I mean, a lot of people were asking me questions like, do you think the X-Men are going to go away forever? Do you think the X-Men are going to get shoved away? Guys, the X-Men are not going anywhere. The X-Men make Marvel a lot of money. The Fantastic Four went away because the Fantastic Four don't make Marvel money. The X-Men are a different story.
And the Fantastic Four reached a logical point in which they could end that story
absolutely
on a high note and then let them go and do their own thing before bringing them back later.
Absolutely. If you've read the ending of Secret Wars, you know where the Fantastic Four end up, and it's Hickman. I'm actually going through right now and rereading Hickman's Fantastic Four. I'm doing a huge Hickman readathon where I'm going from his Fantastic Four all the way through his Avengers because it's all really one giant story tied in. And he lays the groundwork for all that stuff early on in Fantastic Four.
Well, that leaves my opinion for the biggest news, and
No one cares.
I got one vote. Nobody mentioned your name, Riley. I
Shut
got
up.
one vote that says Jess is a human. I think that's the biggest news of 2016.
I
But
agree.
I'm not a dog. I'm a
I like
human.
that one. I like that.
That's
And I
my
haven't
choice.
read Rebirth, and I have no opinion on the X-Men and the Inhumans, and I haven't read any of Hickman. So that's really all I have to say.
Well, you're a sinner, is what you are.
I suck.
Yeah, you kind of do. What the hell, dude?
Why am I on this show?
I want to say my favorite vote that someone put in was, quote, I don't know.
I love that.
It's been a bit lackluster. Maybe unworthy Thor being announced. I liked the frankness of like, this year's pretty shit, but maybe this book.
It was like, it's been kind of a shitty year, but okay, I'll give it to Thor. Whatever, fuck it. Why not, right?
Thor, he got it. Give it to Thor. I love the statement. The more I think about it, the funnier it is.
Some of you guys, your votes are great on this. And some of them are really questionable. I'm like, really? That book? That didn't even come out this year. Gabe, we're going to have to put in some more rules for the 86th annual Omnis next year.
Is it still going to be the 86th next year?
I'm hoping so.
Okay.
We'll see what happens. Maybe it'll be the 94th. Who knows at this point?
We'll
I
see.
feel like we've missed a few years.
I don't know. We've been around longer than these main big publishers have been.
Oh yeah. Oh totally. I mean, you
Longer
know,
than DC. We've been in the game longer than Batman or Superman.
yeah. I remember the time Marvel went from Timely Comics to Marvel. It was a beautiful day.
I remember when they used to make their comics on stone tablets.
Oh wow, you're talking Old Testament.
Chink, chink.
All right. Moving on to the next category. In the motherfucking Omnis 2016 award, this one is the best non-superhero title of 2016. Here's one that I actually disagree with.
Ooh.
Yeah, not in a strong sense. You know, it's a respectable book, but it's one that's fallen off for me a lot this year. Drum roll, please. Can anybody give it to me? And the winner is for the best non-superhero title of 2016, Saga, with 10 votes. Really, guys, Saga. I was surprised at that one. My opinion is it's a great series, still really great, still really strong that Brian K. Vaughan writing Fiona. Wow. Fiona Staples' art is as gorgeous as it's ever been, but it's a series that for me, I just kind of have lost interest in. I don't know what it is. I don't find it interesting. Well, I'm reading it in singles every single month, and then I'll read it, and then the next month I'm like, what happened? And that's usually a bad sign for me. If I don't remember what happened in the previous issue, that means that I've kind of lost interest in it, and I'm just like, okay. My choice, and I actually just read this week, and it absolutely floored me. Sheriff of Babylon. Holy shit, was that good.
Wait, I got a copy of that. Let me go grab it. I can do.
Yeah. Sheriff of Babylon, man. You want to talk about a book that just from beginning to the end of the first trade just grabs you and does not let go. It is awesome. Beautiful art. Great story. I mean, just fantastic. This is Tom King's year more than anybody else. Tom King crushed it this year. Vision, Sheriff of Babylon, Batman, Omega Men. All of these books are great books. This is a guy that he's come up in the comic book industry out of nowhere this past year and just has been crushing it. He did Nightwing last year, which was really good which was really good as well. But this year, man, Tom King's just been on fire. And Sheriff of Babylon was just the cherry on top for me.
Yeah, I agree with that. I don't agree that Saga has dipped, but I do agree that Sheriff of Babylon is amazing. And I've read it twice because the first time I read it, I had just come out of surgery. I read it in the hospital when I got my knees replaced. And I don't remember anything I read in the hospital because I was so high on painkillers, which I highly recommend to everybody to get your knees replaced because it's worth it for the painkillers. But I had to reread it. I had to reread The Vision. I had to reread Venom and Black Magic and a bunch of other books because I read them in my hospital room and I don't remember a freaking thing. But I agree. Sheriff of Babylon was fantastic. It had everything you want. Everything. And the guy is, you're right, he hits every single note right in all his books. He's on an unbelievable role.
Yeah, I mean, most guys in a year will put out, you know, you've got your Scott Snyder, he'll put out a great Batman series in 1 year. You're talking about, this guy has put out Sheriff of Babylon, Vision, and Omega Men in the same year.
Yeah.
All books that are now, that a lot of people are considering modern day classics, I would argue.
I agree.
So it's an incredible feat, in my opinion, for the guy. Riley?
Saga's good. Good. It's got a lot of penises in it.
Oh God, the ogre.
I like to read comics where the best part about that is the fact that apparently Vaughn is not very specific in his artistic direction for staples, so she just puts dicks wherever she wants to, and I am all for that. Like,
dick lover that you are.
Yep, that they're like the scene where they fight the giant from earlier on in the series, and there's a dick on there. The fact that the first volume has a big titty on the front, like, all for it.
Dicks out for Saga.
Free the nipple. Dicks out for dicks. But I would have to agree that it suffers from kind of the sophomore slump that a lot of books will go into once they get into their second act. Like it loses a lot of that momentum, and this year was not the best year for Saga because it's kind of just pushing forward, trying to get to the next point. And I think the reason that so many people voted Saga specifically is because of the fact that it was hyped up so much for that deluxe edition, and a lot of people read the deluxe edition for the first time, and that's why it showed up so high on this list. A lot of people are voting based on what deluxe editions, because if you look at the top 4 that were voted on, it's Saga with 10 points, Deadly Class with 7, Paper Girls is in there, which has just right now with 5 votes.
Paper Girls is great.
Number 2 is Black Science, it looks like. Or not number 2, number 4 is Black Science. But that doesn't make sense because it says there's 4 votes for Fade Out, so Fade Out should be number 4. I don't know. But all these are books that have received, except for Paper Girls, have received big hardcovers. And as always happens in the group, everyone's just like hyping it up and being like, you know, get the hardcover because it's whatever. And people will buy it without knowing anything about it just because people are talking about it.
I'm empty.
Not always a problem. I mean, I do some blind buys here and there.
Same.
And they're all great series. Every single one of those books I love. I think that, you know, yes, if you did just read the first hardcover of Saga this year, then yeah, it probably would be one of the titles that you think is one of the best of the year. So I think that that's a pretty good vote that went towards that one. But my opinion is going to be the X-Men. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Shocking.
I'm just kidding. My favorite non-superhero title of 2016 is going to have to be Mark Russell's Flintstones series.
Oh, good choice.
Supposed to be great.
It's so good. I could talk about that book like so much. The series was the one I kind of expected the least from out of the new like Hanna-Barbera books that are coming out, because I didn't see where they could take it. I didn't know what they were going to do with it. And I had read interviews and whatever, and they're like, oh, it's going to be, you know, like just like the cartoons, it's a commentary, blah, blah, blah. But I didn't know that it was going to go so far as it has gone. I didn't know it was going to be so mature and so poignant. And it's almost, to me, it's almost like watching, it's a less fart jokey version of South Park. Like it's because South Park does really well to comment on whatever the most recent thing that happens in society is, because that show is made in 1 week. Like they had the little documentary like 7 days to air, because literally when they're doing episodes of South Park, they start writing it a week before it's due to air on TV.
Yeah.
And that way they can get the most relevant references towards pop culture and current news into every episode. And I feel like every month when a Flintstones issue comes out, every month it's just like, this is very like current stuff that's happening. They're talking about, you know, marriage rights, they're talking about religion, they're talking about all these different things. And every issue just blows me away with how it relates to what's going on in the real world. And the way that they just put it out so flat and so so like, I don't know, it just works. I just love the way that they put it out there, because it's not like something that's hidden in layers of metaphor. It's just like, this is what we're talking about, but we're going to use cavemen to talk about it. And it's great. And as well, it just stands up along the cartoon, because it's still like, if you were a fan of the cartoon when you were growing up, like if you grew up with it, or if you watched reruns on Cartoon Network or Toonami, or not Toonami, Boomerang, like we would have, then you're going to get a bunch of those references, the characters, the jokes and stuff. But they're going to go further into it. And so like for instance, one of the things that they do in the comic that I thought was really great in like reference to what's going on in the or what happened in the cartoon, was they have all these sentient animals who can all talk, who are like tools. Like they are, you know, their dishwasher, their vacuum, whatever, all of those things are alive and they talk in the show. And in the comic, they do the same thing, but they're like very self-aware of the situation. And there's slight spoilers. In the newest issue, there was a little scene where I think the vacuum cleaner is talking to some other thing in the closet, and they're just talking about how like they like only exist outside of the closet whenever they need to be used, something like that. Like it was a pretty powerful little scene, just in relation to what goes on in the cartoon. And I'm like, damn, they took some innocent little piece of the Flintstones cartoon and evolved it into something bigger. But I absolutely love The Simpsons. When the I do love The Simpsons, but I absolutely love the Flintstones. And when the collected edition comes out, and I do hope that there's a deluxe one down the line, but when that paperback comes out, I really hope that a lot of people wind up picking that up, because it's definitely worth whatever the cover price is going to be.
It's definitely one of those. Oh, I hear an echo.
Not me.
You're an echo.
Not it.
I don't even have. Wait a minute.
Nick.
Nope, I'm still muted.
Hello?
I'm good.
Okay, I'm good.
I'm good.
All right.
Okay,
It's
good.
definitely one of those series where you have to look at DC and go, does DC actually realize that they're publishing this? Like they're publishing this, and editorial at DC is like, yeah, it's a Flintstones book, whatever. We don't really have to look over it, because they're tackling a lot of stuff in this book, and it's incredibly brilliant.
Haven't read it. Looking forward to it.
This is why you suck.
I know. God, I'm like some type of non-knowledgeable comic speaking dude. I don't have anything to say about that book. Sorry.
Don't sound so disappointed, Jess. It's okay, man.
I haven't read it yet. I trade weight everything. I'm sorry.
It's okay, Jess. Air hug from over here.
Riley made me this way. He made me into a trade waiting dog.
That evil laugh is great, man.
I know.
I have a secret, like, I make commission off of every collected edition that gets sold.
Oh God, I wish I did.
Regardless of publisher.
I wish I did. Honestly, I'd be able to quit my job. Oh my gosh. Jess, what's your choice, man?
I'll be honest with you. I don't. As far as individual issues, I trade weight everything. So
okay.
I guess the thing that I don't have it in front of me. I also read it in the hospital.
Irredeemable.
So, unfortunately, that's not ongoing. But I remember I loved Paper Girls. I read it in the hospital, so I need to read it again. I loved Sheriff of Babylon. I haven't read Flintstones, but I'm really looking forward to it. Fade Out, I don't think counts. Oh, we're on Best Non-Superhero title. I loved Fade Out. I loved Fade Out so much that I gave it to my sister, who does not read comic books, but I stayed with my sister during the West Coast Omni tour back in the spring, and I had 125 books that I had bought for everybody just spread out in her studio. She was extremely impressed with a lot of the books, and she and her husband thought that the whole concept of collected comics was really cool. So I sent her Fade Out for Christmas. So I think that she's going to get a huge charge out of Fade Out. So I'm going to go with Fade Out because I loved that book. I read it twice, loved the ending, beginning, middle. Art was fantastic. I thought it said a lot about Hollywood at that particular time, how you couldn't trust anybody, how everybody was out for themselves. It was a horrible time in American history with the HUAC hearings and House on Un-American Activities Committee. And it was a remarkable time in American history when you could trust no one. Right after we had beaten the Nazis and were the greatest nation in the world, 3 years later, all of a sudden you could trust no one in America because you were afraid of becoming labeled a communist. And that book captured it perfectly.
Oh, yes.
And I think that Fade Out gets my vote for just it was a fabulously written thing. I've read everything that Brubaker's written, and I'm really leaning on saying that's I think it is my favorite book that he's ever written. It was just really powerful and impactful. I used to study in college. I studied McCarthyism and the House on American Activities Committee. I wrote a thesis on it for history. My minor was in history, and it really spoke to me. So I did not go to college back in 1948 and experience it myself, so shut up, anybody that thinks that's funny. I went to college back in the 70s and 80s when it was really cool to be a beer-drinking frat guy, which is what I was, not like now. So Fade Out gets my vote.
Good choice. Fade Out is, for those of you that don't know, it's Ed Brubaker, Sean Phillips, the criminal team, the team that does pretty much everything together, and just nailed it on the head. Talk about using that time period to an advantage of writing that story. I mean, just focusing in on the paranoia of, is this person a communist? Is this not a communist? Hollywood in that era, because a lot of people, when they focus on Hollywood at that time period, they think, oh, it's the glitz, the glamour, the fanciness. There was a very nasty underbelly in Hollywood of that, and at that time, that a lot of people don't realize.
It was a witch hunt. You could point a finger at somebody and boom, they would be out of a job. And I mean, this is people that were screenwriters and actors and behind the scenes people point a finger at a screenwriter, out of a job. And that's the way they made their living. They had to do exactly what it is and fade out and have a like a false front guy be their front man while they churned out the scripts for this guy, and he collected money and gave it to the blacklisted writer. It ruined thousands of lives. It was a complete witch hunt, and it captured it perfectly.
Too true, too true. And we're gonna keep this train rolling along. The next category is the best superhero title of 2016. Okay, and this is a category that I really wasn't that surprised considering how much of love this book got, but it did beat out a book that I was almost certain that would get it. So drum roll, please, somebody. The winner is, with 9 votes, Superman, beating out Vision, Batman, and Thor. I really did not expect this one to beat out Vision, to be honest. But Superman has really, that's one of those books that, had you told me last year in the middle of the New 52 that Superman would be one of the best books that DC is writing right now in the stands, I would probably say there's absolutely no way they'd be able to steer that ship so quickly. But damn if they didn't do it. And man, has Superman been a really, really, really great book this year. I can't believe it beat out Vision. That's just my 2 cents. I was sure Vision would get a lock-in for this one because everybody that's read Vision in the group has said Vision has been fantastic. I still haven't read it yet.
Wait, what?
I haven't read Vision yet.
Oh, you suck as much as I do.
Hey, I'm waiting. It's got to get a hardcover edition. It has to get a hardcover edition soon.
Well, here are the 2 trades that you can buy.
It has to get a hardcover. I mean, Tom King tweeted the other day, like a few weeks ago, saying, look, if you guys want a hardcover edition, I'm all down for it. You just got to tweet at Marvel.
Well, I haven't read Superman because I suck. I forgot. Yeah, I suck. So I haven't read Superman, but I did read Vision, and I read it twice because I loved it so much, because Tom King lives in this area of Virginia, and he sources a lot of the Vision stuff in the suburbs of Virginia and nails it about what suburban life is like in Virginia as a kind of bedroom community for people who work in DC. There's also a high-tech industry that's further out west, but dealing with Vision, just the whole idea that he created this family and implanted their memories, and where it goes is absolutely unbelievable. I did not I can't say anything about it about the ending because it surprised the heck out of me. It was I'm sorry, issue 7 in the second volume was amazing, and I think what brought it all home to me was the ending, which I just absolutely did not expect. I think he set it up incredibly well because I can't really talk about what happens to this android family without giving too much away if you haven't read it yet. But it's basically it's a huge treatise on racism and not being able to trust your neighbor, people that are different, how those people that are different react, how they try and fit in, how even if you try to fit in and you sometimes you just can't fit in. He hit it out of the park on this one, where it was really amazing. And I don't know, I can't say more than that, other than you really need to read it, because the ending is one of the best. Just because it took me so by surprise, the ending is phenomenal. I thought it was unbelievable.
So
I mean, it was believable, but incredible.
Would you say that Vision is your number one superhero comic for the year?
Yes, I would. I would indeed.
Okay.
Riley, how about you?
X-Men.
X-Men. Everything's coming up. X-Men.
2016 is X-Men. Okay, so
face.
what?
Chris Claremont's X-Men run in the 90s.
Yes, it was the best book of 2016. So Superman, I have to say that was without doubt, as far as DC's books go, that's the strongest superhero book they've put out because it's such a return to form for the character. It gives us finally the Superman book that we've been needing for so long. Tomasi and Gleason are continually one of the greatest teams in comics. It's got, it's a little less action packed, and it's more about the emotional relationship and the familial relationship between the family, Superman and Lois and Superboy are Superman's son in here, and it works so well. It's just such a great, beautiful series. And if you read Batman and Robin by Tomasi and Gleason, you know that there was a lot of father-son stuff in there that carries over tenfold on this book. So I couldn't recommend it enough. But I like to be different from everyone else. And I'm not even going to say that Vision was my favorite for the year, though it probably was. But like I said, I just like to be different and say something different anyway. I do want to mention Vision was also freaking fantastic. One of the reasons I think that series succeeded so much was because it took a character that everyone knows the Vision, but there's not many people who are really experts in the Vision. He's not that many people's favorite character. He's not been the headliner on many teams or many books. Even though he's one of the mainstays in the Marvel Universe, in the Avengers teams, he's been there since, since his first appearance, almost consistently. And this book really, it helps to kind of inform who the character is, about his entire past. And there's a chapter in that book that actually goes deep into every single time that he ever helped save the world. Goes into everything that he's ever done. There's a book, an issue that's just about his relationship with the Scarlet Witch. And then on top of that history lesson on the character, which makes it very obvious that Tom King studied up on what he was doing with this book, he goes forward and tells you this new story, this really emotional story for a character who doesn't necessarily feel emotions like we do, at least. And it just reaches to all corners of the Marvel Universe. You see a bunch of characters show up that you might have expected, might have not expected, and it culminates into this beautiful 12-issue series that needs to be collected in some sort of premiere edition, just to celebrate the fact that it exists. But for me, I'm going to say that my favorite superhero book of the entire year, if not either of those two, is going to be Thor by Jason Aaron. This currently would be The Mighty Thor, starring the female Thor. And the reason being is because one of the reasons I love Jason Aaron as a writer is because when he does these long form runs on superheroes, like he did with Wolverine, he'll write a bunch of different stories all over the place. And you'll find minis and short arcs and stuff like that that seem kind of inconsequential at the time that he's writing it, and even for a year or two afterwards. But by the time that everything gets to where he's going, you see that everything that he's been writing is important. That happened back with Wolverine. You had his earlier arcs like Get Mystique and his Manifest Destiny miniseries, and then you have the short arcs that he was doing, the Weapon X series, the Dark Reign, the List issue. Every single thing that he did seemed kind of inconsequential, and it seemed like he was just telling this anthology Wolverine story where he was just doing whatever he wanted with Wolverine. But by the time you get deeper into his run, it's clear that everything that happened was part of this huge grand story, and it all tied in together. And by the time you get to the end of everything he was doing with Wolverine, you appreciate everything he's done with the character and everything he's done with the X-Men franchise since he came on it. And the same thing is happening here in Thor, albeit a little bit more linear, because it's been, you know, God of Thunder, Thor, the Original Sin miniseries, the Original Sin main event, the Secret Wars miniseries, and now the Mighty Thor series, as well as the Unworthy Thor miniseries. And all of these things, concepts and elements from every single one of these items is being bled together. You get, in the Unworthy Thor series, you're getting notes from God of Thunder are coming back over here. From the opening arc of God of Thunder are appearing here. You're getting material from Thor's, the Secret Wars miniseries is appearing in Unworthy Thor. You're getting stuff from Original Sin is important during the Mighty Thor series that's currently ongoing. And I've appreciated this so much because it brings a lot of depth to that corner of the Marvel universe, and it makes it just seem like much more grand of an experience than if it was just a single book that ran for, you know, however many issues and was just linear, and you're just following these storylines. I don't know, it's something that I think that Jason Aaron is brilliant at doing. He's able to bring a lot more depth to these characters and depth to the stories that he's telling by doing it this way. And I know it can be a little bit annoying later on, especially if you're sitting there, like, because it's always easier to follow like issues 1 through 60 of a series.
Yeah.
It's harder to follow when there's all these miniseries, but the way he does it works out so well in the end that it's rewarding. It's very rewarding by the time it all comes to an end. So I'm looking forward so much to seeing what he has planned. I know we're going into a big story arc with the it's like the war between the Asgardians and the Shi'ar, and then we're going to go into another huge story arc that he's been planning for a while. And I can't wait to see what he has in store for these characters, how it all comes together. And I don't know when he plans on ending his run, but whenever he does and whatever he does with it, I know it's going to be great. I know it's going to be epic, and I can't wait for it. So that's my pick.
Really good pick. That
Yeah,
was actually
you hit him with the hind on that one.
Baba Booey.
Baba Booey.
That was actually my pick the same way too. The story of, look, I mean, if you don't know who it is at this point, then you've probably been living under a rock. But spoilers, I guess. But the story of Jane Foster as she's dealing with the cancer and as she's essentially slowly dying while she's becoming Thor, because becoming Thor wipes out the chemo that's in her body. It's an incredibly moving and powerful story. And then you have the asshats out there that are saying, "Oh, I don't want a female Thor. You know, the female Thor can stay away from me," despite the fact that there have been female Thors in the past. But that's neither here nor there. But the story of her coming into her own, becoming a superhero, and it's a very beautiful and moving story on top of everything that you've listed as well.
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
I mean, there's you hit it right on the head. There's really nothing else that I could add on to it. I have been loving Jason Aaron's Thor run all the way from beginning when he was working with Asad Rivik on the God Butcher stuff to now. It's all been just one continuous fantastic Thor story, and I cannot wait to see what he does with the new Thor miniseries, Unworthy Thor.
That's right. Everything's been a bit lackluster this year. Perhaps Unworthy Thor will be good.
Well, I mean, this year's kind of been a weird year for me as far as superhero comics, because I would say this is probably the first year where I've been reading this is the year where I've been reading the least amount of superhero comics, because half the year was New 52 DC, and I wasn't reading anything of that. Then the rest of the year was Marvel doing their Marvel Now thing, and with the exception of a few titles like, you know, Thor, Miss Marvel, and I haven't read Vision yet because I've wanted to read Vision as a whole title. I've been reading less and less superhero books, and I've been reading more indie stuff and more Dark Horse books more than ever. I mean, that's just where I'm at though this year, and I'm dying to get into Valiant, but I'm have no clue where to start with Valiant. Everybody says you have to jump onto Valiant, but I know once I jump into Valiant, it's going to be like, oh, I've got to read everything that Valiant has published.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. I was, when Valiant started put like their first paperbacks, I was reading every single Valiant series as it came out in paperback, and I was just addicted. Like every title is so good. I mean, there are some that are better than others, but overall, it's a hugely just amazing universe of quality books. And I sold all the paperbacks because I planned on getting onto the hardcovers, but I didn't have the money for them at the time, and now I didn't even grab the hardcovers. So I'm planning, hopefully soon, I'm going to be able to play a little catch up.
And here's the thing with the hardcovers of Valiant. A lot of that stuff is going out of print.
I think there's like 3. There's 3 that are maybe 4.
The Exo Manowar.
It's
Bloodshot.
Volume 1. Archer and Armstrong Volume 1. The Books of Death event book, and Rye Volume 1. But for like the fact that there's like 25 of these books out there, 4 of them being out of print is a pretty good track record.
Yeah.
But the ones that I recommend the most are Harbinger and Exo Manowar, and those are all available.
Well, let me just speak up. I'm going to mention it next week, but I'll speak up for the death-defying Dr. Mirage. Dr. Mirage is cool. God, I love that book. The first story
Quantum and Woody is also great.
What is?
Quantum and Woody. Did you read that one yet?
I haven't. The first Valiant book I ever read really was Dr. Mirage, because I knew it was sort of separate from everything else that was going on.
Nice.
And God, was it good. The first story was one of the strongest stories I've read this year, and the second story was also very good, but it's a super nice book that I'm going to cover more in depth next week.
Good.
So there's that. I mean, like I said, I've literally been dying to jump into Valiant. I've been just wanting to read Valiant because everybody's like messaging me, sending me on live streams every single week. When are you going to do Valiant? When are you going to do Valiant? When are you going to do Valiant? And I'm like, I only have so much money and time on my hands at the moment. So it's eventually I plan on it, and it'll be one of those things where I just jump into it head first next year. I'll probably order the first. I think they said you start out with Exo Man of War, the first volume, and you go from there.
Yeah. Someone needs to send this man some Valiant hardcovers.
Please do.
Making it a mandate.
Hey, if you guys want to send them to me, please go ahead. Just, you got to filter it through Jess. That's how people send me stuff apparently now.
The same for me. It goes through Jess first, and then it comes to me.
I'm the gatekeeper for both you guys.
Is that really how it works for you, Riley? Do people message Jess and then it reaches you?
Well, because people want it to be a surprise.
Yeah, same.
And so they get my address. They can get it from Jess, and then I don't know it's coming. And sometimes he'll ask me, like, is it cool if I do this? If it's someone that Jess knows is like trustworthy and they're not going to send anthrax in the mail, then he'll go ahead and okay it right away.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I might. He'll ask me like, hey, is it cool if someone sends you something? I'm like, yeah, I'll okay it. But he's done well. No anthrax has arrived yet.
I've screened that all out.
Good, yeah.
That's how it was for me when John messaged Jess asking him for my address, and then Jess messaged me, hey, John wants to send you something. I'm like,
oh, did I say his name?
No, you didn't actually. No, you said somebody wants to send you something. And I was like, okay, maybe, I guess. Is he cool? And you're like, nah, he's a good guy. He's good. I'm like, all right. If Jess trusts you, then you can't be bad.
Well, I vouched for him and I also knew how much you were going to dig what he sent you, but I couldn't let on what he was sending you.
Yeah.
So I sort of had to keep it really quiet. That you can trust him, and he's sending you something that's sort of cool, and I knew he was sending you something that you'd go crazy over.
I was gonna be even stealthier than Jess. Like, Jess went out and asked you. I told John, like, I'm gonna see if I can't find someone who may have bought or sold books to you and see if I can get your address really stealthy. And then John messaged me back immediately, like, don't worry about it. I got the address from Jess. I was like, okay.
I just asked.
And Riley didn't even question it twice. He's got the address.
Yeah, but I was gonna say as an alternative, if you don't want stuff sent to your house, you can always try and do your work. Maybe, I don't know. I've done work a couple times before.
I work at a school, so that's a big no.
Oh, you can't get packages at a school. Okay,
Yeah, that's a big no. But I was thinking about also getting a PO box, not just for packages and stuff like that, but like for fan mail for the show and things like that. I think that'd be pretty cool. I just don't know how much a PO box costs. It might be something down the line that we'll do. I was thinking about doing it. Somebody said, have we gotten a package from Nick yet? No, but I fully expect it to be an Irish car bomb for how much shit I talk about him on the show. I fully expect him to send me anthrax.
Weapons grade anthrax.
the best grade.
The best grade. Hey, it's like weapons grade crystal meth. It works on Batman. Which part, Morrison, weapons grade crystal meth, really? Because regular crystal meth didn't work?
He would know.
He would know. He really would.
He does firsthand research on everything he writes, so he would know.
I'm pretty sure.
Even on writing transgendered characters, he does firsthand research.
What?
Yeah. If you watch his documentary, the Talking with Gods, there's a sequence in there where he talks about how he would go to clubs at the time that he was writing The Invisibles. He would go to clubs as a woman to see how it was for a transgendered person in the real world, so that he could write that more accurately, or as accurately as he could as a man dressing as a woman, I guess. I don't know. It's like, it's not 100%, but he tries to put himself in those situations.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's cool.
I didn't know that at all.
It's a good movie. I recommend it. Talking with Gods. It's one of my favorite documentaries of all time. I know I'm biased because it's Grant Morrison, but it's really well made, and it really gives some insight into his personal thinking as he was writing a bunch of books like Invisibles, All-Star Superman, Final Crisis, and a lot of those books.
I've seen most of it. I think it was Becky Cloonan. They interviewed Becky Cloonan or something where she like went to his hotel room or something like that. He opened the door and he was like covered in his blanket. And then he starts walking away, and she says like the door magically starts closing in front of him.
That was Warren Ellis, actually.
That was Ellis?
Yeah. Warren Ellis said that like it was like a creepy situation where it seemed like he just magicked the door shut. His quote was really good too, of like what Morrison said. It was like just something really plain, like "I'm working" or something like that, and then he went back in and like the door shut behind him magically.
I believe it. He is a chaos wizard.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see a wizard fight between him and Alan Moore.
Oh, geez.
I feel like Morrison would be the more like flamboyant, like jumping around, like doing like fun spells and stuff, and Alan Moore would just be like wreaking havoc, like standing there like releasing the Kraken and like making floods and flame fall from the sky. Morrison would be like making Alan Moore's beard into spaghetti.
It's all fun and games until Alan Moore's beard is set to attack.
Yeah.
That's when shit gets serious. Okay, moving on to the next category in the motherfucking Omni Awards 2016. God, I love that name. For best, where are we at? We did best superhero title last, correct?
So we're on best motherfucking miniseries of 2016.
Best motherfucking miniseries of 2016. Drum roll, please. And the winner is Superman American Alien, but it also tied with The Fade Out. Really two good choices. This was a category you guys didn't even really give a damn that much about. Oh no, I stand corrected. We actually had to do a correction on this. Hold on. Anybody want to explain what it was?
Okay, so what had happened in this, and we were discussing it the other day, was that people had actually voted for The Vision. The Vision was number 1, and Omega Men was number 2.
Yeah.
But neither of those are actually miniseries. Like, speaking literally, they were not miniseries because these two books were not solicited as being 1 out of 12. They were solicited as being ongoing series. They happened to wrap up each of them at 12 issues. Omega Men, because it got canceled at 6, and then people insisted that DC not cancel it, or else they were gonna like cut people's heads off, and they extended it to 12 issues. And then Vision, because Tom King was going exclusive at DC, and he's like, I want to tell my story in 12 issues, so I'll wrap it up here. So literally the winning series was the Vision, but by a technicality, because neither Vision or Omega Men are miniseries. So American Alien and Fade Out are your favorite miniseries of 2016.
And that was all decided by Riley, so that means your vote does not give me a damn. Welcome to politics, kids.
I'm the electoral college here.
Popular vote doesn't count.
But I would have, if it were a miniseries, honestly, I would have said, yeah, sure, go ahead, Vision. But I wanted to be very literal here. But there were other things in here. It's not like that's the only time that something was like, why is that in here?
Yeah.
Like, Tokyo Ghost is on here for miniseries. That's not a miniseries at all. I know there are a couple other things on here that
I was surprised Klaus didn't take it, because Klaus is really popular in the group lately.
I think if this was held a little bit later, Klaus probably would have gotten it.
Probably, because that hardcover just came out, what, like 3 weeks ago? 2-3 weeks ago?
Yeah, and after it came out, like a few people bought it, and then more people bought it, and now like people are just in a fervor about buying it. It was funny because I posted the other day, like, hey guys, there's another Klaus one-shot that came out this week, and a couple people were like, God damn it, because it's not collected in the hardcover.
Here's some pics of American Alien, Superman, American Alien.
I mean, as far as miniseries go, I'm in agreement with them. American Alien was really good. It was a really good series by a writer that, you know, I will admit I can't stand that pretentious prick. Mm-hmm. But I got to give it to him. Max Landis, he wrote a good Superman story. I'm man enough to admit that even though he's an asshole, that he wrote a good story.
I know nothing about this guy. All I know is this book. This must be the only thing I've ever read from him. I don't know any of the controversy about him. Of course, before I started this broadcast, I never knew any controversy about Greg Land either. So I guess I'm learning all kinds of things.
I don't know that there's necessarily controversy behind him. I don't even know if it's a popular opinion, because I feel the same way. I think he's kind of a dick. Personally, I don't think that there's like a popular opinion that people have that Landis is a dick. For me, it's just personally the way that he presents himself as kind of this like almighty, my opinions are better than yours type guy. And that always bothers me. I know I can be like that. Everyone can be like that sometimes, but he's like, it's like it's his profession is to be like that.
What else is he? What's he famous for writing?
He wrote Chronicle.
Yeah, he wrote the script for the movie Chronicle. He also has his famous YouTube video, his version of the Death and Return of Superman, which was filmed like starring. It was filmed kind of like a drunken history video, where he's sitting in a chair having a drink, and he's recapping the entire story of the death and return of Superman. And it stars a bunch of different people, but I know Elijah Wood plays, I think, Cyborg Superman in there.
What? These are what was Chronicle? These are obscure references for somebody that's so pretentious.
Chronicle is a 2012 movie that
really
was
fun, really good.
Oh, what's it good?
It was really, I really enjoyed it too. I thought it was great. It was an original story, but it was very superhero-esque. And I'm
gonna have to check it out. I am not familiar with Max Landis except for this book.
It's found footage. It's really good. It's a really good movie.
Yeah, and it's by Josh Trank directs it, but Josh Trank went on to do Fantastic Four.
We don't talk about that movie.
Yeah. It's good though. It's kind of like an American version of Akira, starring high school students with a camera.
Yeah, his dad was the director of American Werewolf in London.
Oh, John Landis?
Yeah, his dad is John Landis.
Oh.
Yeah.
Max Landis also wrote American Ultra and Victor Frankenstein, neither of which I think had that high of a critical. Yeah, neither of those got a good critical response.
American Ultra was crap.
I've heard so.
Well,
And
this book is great. I don't know any of his movies, but this book is great.
Apparently, he's a showrunner on the Dirk Gently show on BBC America.
Holy crap! He's done a whole bunch of nothing that I've heard of. Where does he get this pretentious airs?
I don't know. That's the thing. Like he's not done enough to be pretentious, but that's the problem. I think that's the main thing I have with him is like he acts so full of himself, and I'm like, you haven't done enough to receive that.
Yeah.
Like if you look on his Wikipedia, he has 3 credits for his bibliography. There's 1 credit missing. He did write an annual for Superman during Grant Morrison's run of Action Comics, but it's 2015, Superman American Alien. 2016, Green Valley, which is a miniseries he's doing at Image right now. 2017, a book that's not even out yet, Superman, Agent of Batman.
Yeah. And I'll give it to him. The guy is a solid writer. He really is. He can write.
Yeah,
he can write.
Part 2, the jock cover.
American Alien is a really, really good book. I think I gave it overall. I think I gave it like a borrow when I reviewed it or something like that. And I've gone back. Yeah, I've gone back and read it, and I was like, you know what? It's really good. It's borderline a buy for me. I wasn't blown away by it. I thought it was solid. I thought it was really, really good. But I wasn't blown away by it. I thought I've read a lot of other things throughout the year that I was like, you know what? This is a little bit better than American Alien. That's just my 2 cents. I'm sorry, Jess. Don't hate me.
Oh, you and your purple shirt. I don't know what to say. This is one of my favorite books of the year. I've reread it. I've reread especially that Superman as Bruce Wayne and the Lex Luthor confrontation. I've reread those stories individually probably 17 times. I love this book. I love those stories. I love how there's different artists for each story. I love how really different each story is. To me, it was almost like different writers wrote and different illustrators illustrated because they're so different. And I loved how it's not about Superman being super, but being more of a man figuring out how to be super. And it takes him from being a little kid all the way up to wherever he is here. Fighting with Lobo, that's right. But yeah, it was more of a learning experience for Superman, and I just thought this was an amazing concept that I would gladly borrow from you and keep.
Maybe it was one of those things where I had heard so many great things about it, I was expecting something along the lines of, and this is my own preconceived notion, and that falls on me, that I was expecting something maybe more along the lines of like Superman, All-Star Superman, where everybody was saying this is incredible, this is great, this is like groundbreaking, and I read it and I was like, it's good, it's really good, but yeah, it's not All-Star Superman. I mean, All-Star Superman is one of those books where I put it in my top 5 any day of the week.
Yeah, no, there's no question about that. But yeah. I kind of blind bought that American Alien book and didn't know anything about it when I read it, so I had no preconceived notion.
So that's more on me. I think that has to do more with me.
You and your lavender shirt.
Is it lavender or purple? I'm kind of a bit colorblind. Okay, so you guys picked Superman American Alien with Fade Out tying it up. I agree with Fade Out as well. Fade Out was brilliant. Jess had already talked about it earlier on in the show. Absolutely stellar series by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Really, we can't talk enough about it as it is. The runners-up for that were Britannia, which I've never read, Faith by Jody Hauser, which I'm guessing that is the book from Valiant that has the first plus-size hero, and Klaus. So the next category on our list is...
Well, we get to give our opinions.
We didn't?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe you guys did.
No one cares.
I was sitting there talking to the other guys on the chat.
Nick, the teleprompter's wrong.
Mine. This is the second. Just for the record, X-Men book number 2 that I'm voting for is X-Men, the Worst X-Man miniseries.
Oh yeah, that was a great book.
By Max Bemis, who is the front man for Say Anything, and has been writing a lot of comics lately. It was a digital first miniseries that then got put into print, then into trade paperback. 5-issue miniseries about a new character, an original character for Max, who's a mutant who has the most useless power of any X-Man, because if he uses it, he will immediately die. And he cannot come back. He will die. So it's a really interesting look at this character that's kind of a really humorous, but the 5th issue, the final issue, really just turns everything on its head and gives us this really fantastic ending. Takes the story from being like an 8 to being an 11 for me, and really makes it a good, thought-provoking little mini-series. Wraps itself up really well, and I hope that we see Bemis do plenty more things at well, he already is. He's doing a Fool Killer series at Marvel right now, but I want to see more and more and more. I want him to be a bigger name in comics, and that's my pick.
Yeah, Riley recommended that book to me, and I read it, and I loved it. That I agree with him wholeheartedly. That it is a fantastic read, and issue 5, you're right, is incredible. It is is incredibly moving, and it's funny and goofy, but incredibly moving and touching at the same time. I really liked it a lot.
Yeah, I think it informs a lot about what it is to go through puberty. And especially like if you went through puberty and you were one of those kids in high school that was not, you know, the jock or the popular guy, like you're the kid that like still awkward, you've got pimples and greasy hair and like you're lanky or, you know, a little chubby or something, and like it really informs that what it's like to be that kid. And it reminded me of my like growing up and you know, being in school and not being the coolest kid ever, but I went to a really great school and everyone was my friend. Like everyone liked everyone there, but I wasn't some stud. I wasn't a jock. Like I was short and hairy, and
you were Wolverine. You were basically Wolverine.
Yeah, I'm short and hairy, and I smoke a lot of cigars, and I have bone claws. I was basically Wolverine. It was crazy. But yeah, it's a really, really great book. No, Gabe, I wasn't homeschooled.
I think in that book, a lot of it also has to do with we wouldn't get a book like this if it wasn't for Morrison's run, where Morrison introduced the more obscure X-Men, not the pretty boy X-Men, you know, the X-Men that had real issues. That they didn't have control of their powers. They weren't the best looking X-Men. Not everybody's gonna look like Jean Grey when they go to X-Men, when they go to Xavier School. Some of them will look like Beak, and they will have horrible powers.
Yeah.
You know, things like that. I really dug that about Morrison's run. Jess, did we go for you for the best mini?
Didn't I ramble on about American Alien?
Yes, you did.
A lot of rambling.
Shut up.
Okay, and the next category in the motherfucking Omni Awards 2016 is the best ongoing series in 2016, because your mama is so fat. I didn't come up with these category names. That was all Gabe. So drum roll, please. And I really disagree with this one again. Drum roll, please. The winner is Saga with 11 votes.
That's a landslide for this.
Yeah, it beat out Black Science, Lazarus, and The Walking Dead. That I really don't have anything to say to that. I disagree wholeheartedly with that choice, actually.
And I don't have the excuse of like this is because of the hardcover, because it's about the ongoing. So I would have to assume people are voting based on what they're reading monthly.
I strongly disagree. Saga for, like I said, Saga for me is a book that it's definitely, like Riley mentioned earlier, it's got that sophomore slump. It's a book that I'm like, okay, it's good, and it's setting up a lot of things in this second half for that I'm sure are going to pay off huge in the third half, especially involving the character the Will and all these other different characters. But for me, it's just that it's kind of spun its wheels, and I'm like, okay, this is good. It's not bad. The art's still great, but I'm ready to kind of see the payoff of what you guys have building up. The best ongoing for me so far this year has been Lazarus. Greg Rucka absolutely crushing it. Lazarus this year was fantastic. After reading the second hardcover collection of Lazarus, I was completely blown away by it, and I called it. I knew from the beginning of the first arc that I knew Greg Rucka was messing with us in terms of time and in terms of character placement. I don't know if you guys read the second hardcover of Lazarus yet or not.
I have not.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, okay. What about you,
Fuck it
Riley?
up for me.
I'm caught up on it.
Oh, you want me to take my earbuds out?
No, it's fine. I called the twist of the end of the second hardcover a while ago. I was like, oh, this character is obviously, this is what's going on here. But it just keeps twisting and turning. I love political books. I love political intrigue. Saga really is one of those books that is just absolutely every single time the hardcover comes out, I'm going to be buying it day one. And the hardcovers of those books are just fantastic. I mean, just absolutely fantastic production-wise. A lot of special features in it, and it really is a masterclass in world building, because you can tell that that he just has this entire world built up in his head, right from the economy to how these companies came into power, because he writes all this stuff down in the back of the hardcover editions. It's awesome, and it's a badass book. Like, the character of Lazarus, Forever Carlyle, is awesome. She's a badass femme fatale who handles her own and who is coming to the realization that she has been lied to her entire life.
I'm not caught up, so I have nothing to say.
I've also been lied to my entire life. Meanwhile, I'm having a great conversation about dicks in space.
How's that going?
Yeah.
How's that going?
It's been great.
It's been great.
Just in here talking about dicks, because people are still talking about Saga dicks, and I made the statement here that no book is complete without dicks in space, and then I said dicks in space, similar to like pigs in space from the Muppets.
Yes, I do. I love pigs in space.
Yes. So I've been having a good. I just wanted for people watching on the whenever it's not live anymore, whenever it's on YouTube. I just want people to be aware of what was going on in the background.
A series without dicks is no series for me. Wow.
It's not for me. Without dicks in space, it's not for me. Without dicks, period. It's not for me. Anyway, and that even means Scott Summers. He counts as a dick too. My favorite ongoing series, because I mentioned it doesn't work in the previous category, I'm just going to say The Vision. I've already said enough about Vision. I don't have to talk about Vision anymore, but that was my favorite ongoing series of the year, probably tied with Tom King's other ongoing series, which was, of course, Omega Men. And if you are down for it, there's more Sheriff of Babylon coming, so you could possibly call that an ongoing series.
Yeah, they announced season 2 for next year.
Well, I only have one ongoing series. There's only one book I subscribe to since Riley has trained this dog to trade weight, and that's Harley Quinn. So Harley Quinn's the only thing that I still read in singles. So I would have to say that my favorite ongoing series is, of course, Harley Quinn by Jimmy Palmiotti and Amanda Connor. I love that book. It's never dipped for me. It's always been outrageously funny and goofy and a lot of fun, and I just love what they've turned her into. She's completely different than her origin, and I like that. I like the direction they turned her into and put her in, and all the goofy situations they have her in. She's much more likable, and I just love Harley Quinn. So that's why I collect her in hardcover, and I also keep reading her in floppies. So I just dig her. And I just saw Suicide Squad.
I'm so sorry.
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I just got an important message from the wife, but we've got tacos. So we're
do?
Yeah, I've got tacos here, man. We gotta keep going. We got one more round of to go. So let's wrap this up. What'd you get me? What'd you get me, babe?
Oh.
Trailer trash? Trailer park taco?
Trailer park and a Crossroads.
So I got a trailer park taco and a Crossroads taco from Torchy's Tacos. And if you have been around Tejas, you got one more thing? The Nookies or whatever?
What?
If you've ever been to Texas, there's a taco chain that started in Austin called Torchy's Tacos, and they have fantastic little tacos.
Describe the ones you
So
got.
I'm about to have. The trailer trash is fried chicken with queso.
Nice.
Don't ever say I don't love you.
I never said that.
For Christmas.
She also got me.
Oh, whoa!
I'm gonna bust into this right now.
Before
she said
dinner?
I can't have it until Christmas, apparently. It's my stocking stuffer.
Okay, so what's in the other one? Trailer trash?
What was
the other one?
The Crossroads is oh, it's barbacoa.
Ooh, my favorite.
Yeah, they're both really good. And then Adam Garza said pink tacos. There is a Mr. Pink taco. They have the Mr. Pink and the Mr. Orange, and they're both tacos with different kinds of fish. So take that for pink tacos as you will.
When I visit you in April, is that a place where you'd take me? Torchy's Tacos?
Sure. Yeah. If you're feeling it, I will take you there.
I'm feeling it right now.
Okay, I will take you there.
Okay.
Let me take you higher.
No, Creed. No, Creed. This is a Creed free zone. Tacos and root beer. That sounds great.
Oh, I would do it. I would totally do that.
Okay. So did everyone talk about the?
Yeah, I finished by talking about Harley Quinn, so I think we're done with that.
Yeah, best ongoing series. Just a quick wrap up. I would also throw in Hellboy. Hellboy and Hell wrapped up Hellboy's story on Earth, and it was great. It was brilliant. Next category in the motherfucking Omni Awards is the best motherfucking original graphic novel of 2016. Look, this is a landslide.
Last category.
For tonight, yes. This will be the last category for tonight.
Yes.
This was a landslide. Like, this wasn't even close. Coming in with 17 votes, you guys decided Dark Knight, A True Batman Story is the best original graphic novel of the year. And I can't disagree. I absolutely have to 100% agree with this. Stellar art, stellar writing, beautiful story from beginning to end, and a scathing look at a scathing look on himself, at Paul Dini. Just an incredible examination of a man that was down in his luck and took inspiration for Batman and came back up to be one of the greatest Batman writers of all time. You know, I mean, there's nothing else that needs to be said. It's an absolutely brilliant graphic novel, and I'm pretty certain it's my pick of the year for the best book that I've read this year.
I can't argue with that, and I'm not even going to try.
So that's your pick also?
Yep.
So here's where I become the guy that sucks because I still haven't read it.
What?
X-Men.
You
suck. I have it. I still haven't read it.
Wow.
I'm sure if I had read it, I would agree with you guys. I actually have not read any of the original graphic novels on this list from this year. the only thing I can think of that I've read this year that's an original graphic novel was that I talked about it last week, the Not My Bag by Scenic Race, but that's like a couple years old, and that was a fantastic little book.
Yeah, I got to get that.
It's just not this year, but I'll definitely read Dark Knight pretty soon. But I wanted to mention, since we're not going to talk about anything else except for Dark Knight, how just all over the place this category was.
Yeah.
So number 2
Seconds?
was Seconds, which
That doesn't even qualify.
did not come out this year. So that was pretty funny. Number 3 was Patience by Daniel Clowes. I believe that was from this year. Number 6, which is the next one that qualified, was Squirrel Girl Beats Up the Marvel Universe. I own that and still haven't read it, but I've loved everything else Squirrel Girl, so I'm sure I'm going to love that one. But between Patience and Squirrel Girl were Klaus and The Fade Out, neither of which are original graphic novels because they consisted of issues. Then Day Tripper, which is A, not a graphic novel, and B,
From like 5 years ago.
like 2010. So I appreciate the vote, whoever voted for it. Thank you. It was a great book,
Fantastic.
but I'm sorry, it doesn't count. Descender, which is still an ongoing series. God Loves, Man Kills. Yes, it was an original graphic novel, but I'm sorry, it was from the 80s. It doesn't count. After God Loves, Man Kills, my favorite is one vote for Greg Land novel.
I'm sorry, Riley.
So I love that. And then Inde Kingdom Come, which again is rather old and is not a graphic novel. Long Walk to Valhalla, March, Motherless Oven, Nailbiter Deluxe,
Motherless Oven?
That's
Omega
not
Man.
original. None of those are original graphic novels.
Planetary. Not an original graphic novel and definitely not from this year. Pride of Baghdad, Rachel Rising, Secret Path, Sheriff of Babylon, Thanos Infinity Finale, Fifth Beatle, Nameless, and Secret Path. So I just thought that was super funny how many of those are not original graphic novels. I appreciate a lot of those listings. I love that God Loves, Man Kills was on there because that means someone read that for the first time this year and they thought it was fantastic. So good on you, brother or sister. And then Greg Land novel is, I'm going to take my vote and put it there, actually. Greg Land's novel is my favorite graphic novel because if there was a graphic novel about Greg Land, I'm sure it would be a trip, as long as it's not by Greg Land. But yeah, that was our list for best OGNs. I just thought it was a really great list.
You guys did a great job.
I think next year we might have to be a little bit more informative on what we're looking for.
Little
And
more
maybe we
direction.
maybe we should create categories, not categories, but create items to vote on for each category to kind of steer people into the direction that we're looking for. Because the things went all over the place on this one. It's
Okay, I'm gonna be honest. Did you guys even try on this one? Because it doesn't seem like you guys really tried.
we're being dicks right now. I'm so sorry. We're being huge assholes.
Yeah.
Like it's so funny. Like it's really funny to me, and I love all of you, and I thank you all
Same.
for putting in votes. But it's so funny, like the things that got on here. So next, I think that it wasn't clear because some people were like, are we voting for stuff that we read this year, that came out this year? Some people thought that a graphic novel, it was a collected edition, but we're looking for something that was an original graphic novel. That meant that it was something that was put out this year, in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? The category doesn't even say 2016. It just says best original graphic novel. So I take that back. All of these that were not from 2016, they're good. So good.
Best original graphic novel ever.
That works. I'm sorry, like I was wrong. I'm a dick. Like this works. That works.
You're a dick.
I'm
Note to self, I'm a dick.
Okay, I want to apologize. I know I was being a bit of a dick there for a second there, but guys, I felt like you guys were just throwing books at a dartboard.
I didn't have anything to say, so I don't have anything to apologize for.
Awesome.
I was just laughing.
We do appreciate the votes, though. Thank you so much. We just thought it was really funny, that category, just how all over the place it was.
Okay, I'm done. Did Gabe? If you look at the list, if you look at the list, because it's on a shared document, I think Gabe went in there and edited, and he put best original graphic novel.
Shut up, Riley. 2016. Shut up, Riley.
I love that so much. That's funny.
That's a zip code,
That
not
is
a
great.
year.
I forgot he could go in there and edit it right now.
The year.
We should have been shit talking each other on here. Like, your voices suck ass. Shut up, Louis.
That is so
Oh, guys,
funny.
Stay stick for life.
This is great.
Okay, I gotta go eat some tacos though, guys. I've had a really great time tonight.
This is completely fun.
I'll have to cut out right now, guys. Y'all already know where to find me. I'll see you guys next week. Later.
Take it easy, Riley.
Okay, we'll see you later, Rye.
Good night.
Jess, are you up for a little Q&A, or do you want to call it a night, buddy? I'm good for whatever.
I'm fine to do Q&A. I've already made dinner. I've had dinner. I'm having root beer. I'm happy to take questions if anybody has any.
Okay, yeah. So for those of you that are wondering, me and Jess, we're going to do a little bit of Q&A right now. We'll take a few questions for, say, probably the next, what do you think, 10 minutes? Are you good with that?
Sure, that's fine. You do Q&A. I'll go get my wife and do T&A.
Whoa!
Hey!
Whoa! Baba Booey.
Bobo. Bobo. Will Bobo get his name back? That's a great question. John is just hitting me with all these Stern Show questions all night. Will Benji be allowed back in the studio?
But yeah, next week we're going to be covering the other 6 categories. So we'll go through 6 through 1 on Riley's channel. Go check out his channel. Riley is an awesome guy. Puts out a ton of content. If you haven't seen anything on him, he can be found at the Omnibus Collector. And the Omnibus, his Facebook page is the Omnibus Pop Swap Comic Thing page. Somebody's got it.
Wait, I might have it. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. I think I got it.
You got it. Great.
Awesome.
So there's that. So we'll be taking your questions right now in the chat for probably the next 10 minutes.
Those are old radios in the background. They are all functioning. They are tube radios. They are Bakelite tube radios from the 40s. And all the tubes have been replaced and they all work. But there are no AM stations anymore, so all you get is static.
Wait, there's no more AM stations anymore?
No, there is. I'm just kidding about that. Oh. No, yeah, you can get mostly news and weather reports and Spanish stations and church stations and stuff like that on AM now, and sports.
Wow, I didn't know there was still AM radio.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. What writer do you want to kick in the balls? Really hard for what they've done to you? I like that question. Oh, man.
For me, it's easy. It has to be Neil Adams.
Of course. Scott Lobdell. With spiked cleats. Oh, God, I'd do a tap dance on that guy. Not a fan.
Gio says he works for 2 AM stations.
Yeah, but he's in Puerto Rico. That's all they have over there. Puerto Rico's lucky most of the time they have electricity. And I can say that because I am from Puerto Rico. No, I'm dead serious. Like, a lot of times the power in Puerto Rico will cut out and the government will do that. They're so in debt right now. It's kind of sad. I'm looking to read Green Lantern. Is Green Lantern Rebirth a good place to start? Yes. I would say so. So, okay, you are famous for your root beers. I have to ask you.
Who, me?
Yes. You're famous for your root beer right now. Your root beer floats. What's the like balance of milkshake? I mean, of ice cream to root beer? Because there has to be a balance to it.
Right. In this is the Dr. Strange glass that Raleigh Smith got me.
Ooh.
Yeah, Dr. Strange, Raleigh Smith got for me from Alamo Cinnamon Draft House. If I were to make this for myself, I like to fill the glass up to the top with ice cream and then slowly pour in the root beer as I consume the ice cream on the way down. But I like a full glass of ice cream. So that's like 3 giant scoops and then probably half a glass of root beer. And then you just add more root beer as you keep going down. So it's like endless. Yeah. I make mine last like an hour.
So it's half the glass and then 3 scoops of ice cream?
Yeah, I would say that's right.
So it's about half and half then?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's also personal preference. If you like, if you like root beer more, you like ice cream more, this is America, man. You can do what you want with your root beer and your ice cream. Nobody's telling you what to do.
Damn straight. Somebody said just pour the root beer in the ice cream tub
and stick a straw in it. Big old spoon.
That's diabetes. How big are our in-stock trades wish list? I don't have an in-stock trades wish list.
Oh, mine's so out of date. I don't even have I can't even, it's so out of date, I don't even want the books anymore.
Wow, really?
I don't even know what's on it, to tell you the truth, no.
Huh. How would you rate the intern's performance today? Subpar. He left all the green M&Ms in my M&M jar.
Spell red. Oh gosh, what was his answer? What was Beetlejuice's answer when he said spell red?
Well,
I can't remember.
That's an old Howard Stern.
That is, yeah, when they asked Beetlejuice to spell red. Oh, I can't remember. What artist trachea do you want to stomp on? I don't know. Some cases on your shelf, spines out or spines in? I have... Oh, I suck. I have a mixture. I'm looking at them right now. Half of them are spine out and half of them are spine in.
I do a spine out.
Spine out. Okay, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, mine are all my absolutes. Half are spine out and half are spine in. I suck. Beetle answered LSTER.
Let me see. Who do you think is going to die next in Civil War II? My pride.
I have not read Civil War II.
Don't. It's terrible. I thought it was terrible.
I don't really read manga. Oh, why'd I vibrate so on that one? Hearing that echo?
Yeah. Whoa.
No, I'm still muted.
Best Omni to get for beginners. Well, that's a good question. There's a lot of great Omnis to start for beginners. One that I would always recommend is a lot of people always ask me how to start reading Grant Morrison, and I always tell them Animal Man. Although that omnibus is actually going out of print right now, and prices are starting to shoot up.
Yeah. God damn it. I may have to sign out if I'm echoing so bad.
Oh, really? So you just want to call it?
No, you can stay on, but for some reason I'm echoing.
Hello?
Are you echoing?
No, I don't think so.
Why don't you take the rest of the questions and I will sign out. And I'll type in answers if anybody wants to ask me questions.
Actually, I'm going to call it a night. It's 10 o'clock and I'm tired. It was a long night because yesterday was our anniversary, so we went out last night.
Well, happy anniversary.
Well, thank you very much.
I meant it so much, I said it twice.
Thank you.
Happy anniversary. See?
All right. Jess, where can they find you?
Sorry, I'm echoing, but at the Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. I think I said it right.
Yep, you got it. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and something community. Hold on, let me look it up before Riley comes in and beats me over the head with a bat. The Omnibus Collectors Comic Swap and Community. So you can find that on Facebook. You nailed it.
Yep. I lost you. Nope.
Hello.
Oh, there you are.
There I am. Wow, went out again. But it held out almost the entire stream. So if you like this content and you want to keep supporting this and you want to keep supporting what we're doing, me, Jess, Riley, and all of us, you can always help me out specifically by doing and subscribing to my Patreon for as little as $1 a month. You get some cool content. Me and Jess have started our weekly news show. It's been a blast so far. I've been enjoying it, and you get that at the $5 level. Check out that stuff. You could find it at the description down below. Trust me, guys. I know everybody and their mother has a Patreon now, and it's kind of annoying. I get that. Trust me, I do. Because even my favorite YouTubers, I'm like, oh, God, you guys have Patreons too. But take a look at that. It helps us out, and it helps keep us going. And I have been having a blast doing the news show with Jess.
I do too. I have fun with you. Hey, I'm not echoing anymore. Nice.
Oh, really? Oh, damn. Echo.
Yep. No, everything's cool now. Now that we're signing off.
All right. Well, have a good night, everybody. And I guess somebody wanted me to rub my head. There you go. I guess I'm like the Buddha, where if you rub my head, you get good luck. Take care, guys. Have a good night.
Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.